Hey everybody, welcome back to London. This is episode 2 in my series of videos that I'm sharing with you about my March 2025 trip to London to do some antique shopping with my friend Jody. In this video, we're going to focus on the Camden Passage Market as well as these 2 amazing antique and vintage bookstores that we found. Here is the first one, and we just stumbled across it. We were actually on our way to the British Museum, and we walked past this bookstore. It's kind of close to the back entrance of the British Museum. And it was one of the most amazing stores I've been in a long time. So this place had first edition Charles Dickens books that were between $1,200 to $1,500. It had collected works of Shakespeare. It had all of these vintage and antique law books and medical books. It really was just so much fun to look through everything that they had. Most of what they had was out of our budget, but still, it was a delight to just see some of these books on the shelf. I did find something to bring home from here, a couple things that I'll tell you about more later when we get to the haul. But yeah, if you're anywhere close to the British Museum, I definitely recommend that you pop into this antique bookshop. So after we finished oohing and awing over all of those gorgeous antique books, we did make our way over to the British Museum, and entry there is free. That's an awesome thing about touring a lot of these museums in London, is that entry is free. So you can pop in, be there for a couple hours, see the things that you want to see, the things that interest you. I was really excited to see the pediment sculptures from the Acropolis. I've seen the Acropolis in Greece. These are the sculptures that come from kind of that front top part. That was the highlight for me. And then on our way to explore some more of the city, we found Gray's Antique Store. So we decided to go in and visit. The building itself is absolutely gorgeous, and it was really interesting on the inside. This is not like antique malls in the US. The vendors there are actually staffing their booths. They're collecting their own payment. It's kind of like they're just renting little stalls inside. Now, I didn't get a ton of footage from in here because there were some vendors that just did not want to be filmed, and I wanted to respect that. I can also tell you that pretty much everything here was out of our price range, but I would just want to show you some of the gorgeous things that they had. If you're looking for some high-end jewelry or majolica pieces or collectible art, this would be a great place to go if you're willing to kind of pony up and pay some higher prices. So this next place I just found doing a Google search for a used bookstore. It was a little bit outside of the main tourist area of the city, but we took the tube over and it was well worth it. You guys are going to be amazed when you see the inside of this store, and the gentleman who was running it was super friendly. I think a lot of this is his own personal collection. So it's always a good sign when there's just kind of bins of stuff out in the front to dig through, right? But inside, I have never seen more books in my entire life, like literally piled over your head, all the way up to the floor. Just an absolutely insane amount of books. And he knew about everything that was in there. He could tell you about it. He could give you a little bit of history. He knew kind of how things were organized. There was a method to the madness. So we spent a good hour here digging through these books, and I found several treasures that I'm going to show you guys in the haul. So the name of this place is the Archive Bookstore, and it's kind of on the northwest side of London. If you find yourself in the area, I highly recommend that you stop in. On Friday, we decided to explore the Camden Passage. It is another little antique market that takes place On Friday, they have vendors that set up, and in another part of the passage, they have vendors that set up on Saturday. And then they also just have these kind of permanent little stores that wind around in this little back alley. We had a chat with one of the guys that was in these stores, and he was telling us about how the rents are going up so high that he doesn't expect many of these places to still exist, and within about 18 months to 2 years. That was just super sad to hear. So there wasn't a lot there for us to look at, but we enjoyed the things that we saw, and we got to chat with a couple dealers, and it was just overall a really cute little area. What did you find? Oh, it is lovely. It's free. There's no price. Wow, look at this old ironstone piece. Ooh. Transferware. Does it have a mark? Wow.
It's very unusual with the feet.
It is. Now, we had been warned about pickpockets in here and people stealing your cell phones. We didn't have any issues with any of that. Of course, we kept all of our belongings in a crossbody bag that we kind of had our hands on the whole time. I kept a good eye on Jody's backpack for her. This is just a really lovely little area. It's kind of right behind this very busy road where there is a lot of main commercial traffic. This is kind of like the backside of the main road, where you have these just little windy alleyways with these charming little shops. We also found a place to grab a cup of coffee and a breakfast, and it was overall just a really nice morning. Let's talk now about the books that I found while I was in London. I honestly could have bought so many more. I had to make myself stop buying books because I knew they were heavy, and if I had too much stuff, my bag would be too heavy and they would charge me to take it back on the plane. So it was tough to say goodbye to some of these amazing books. So we wound up shopping at 2 bookstores. The first one we just stumbled upon, and it was outside the British Museum, and it was definitely like a very nice store. It specialized in rare and antiquarian books, and it just was gorgeous to look around in there. I did buy for myself from this store this copy of The Wasteland and Other Poems. It's by T.S. Eliot, if you're familiar with that. This is a copy from 1952, and I paid £50 for it, which is pretty hefty, but I bought this 100% for myself, and the reason is because my most favorite poem ever is The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, and it is the first poem in this volume of poetry that he published, and someone has come in this book and made all these notes in The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. And so when I pulled this off the shelf and saw that, it just really spoke to me, and I thought, this is going to be my personal souvenir. I love this so much. Is it worth £50? Probably not. But to me, as a memory of this trip, it was. This poem meant a lot to me in my early 20s, and I was just excited to bring this home. I'm going to add it to my shelf with my other books. I also purchased this gorgeous book from that store. I paid £18.50 for it, which is more than what I probably should have paid. But I just wanted to buy something from that store. It had so many fantastic, amazing, beautiful books. I'm going to show you guys close up the gorgeous cover on it, and then the inlay papers here, just absolutely stunning. This one is from 1892, Religio Medici. It is numbered. It says 100 copies have been printed in large paper. This is number 25. The funny thing, like 1892, that's crazy. I don't find books from 1892 here in the US. And, you know, when I'm out here in the US, if I find something from the 30s, 40s, heck, even the 50s, I'm like, oh, wow, that's a great old book. there, if it wasn't from like pre-1900, like I didn't really want it because stuff is just so much older. So that was the thing that I really, really enjoyed about looking through these bookstores. So I was searching for just old bookstores on Google Maps. This store popped up. It was a little bit outside of kind of any main shopping area, and I am so glad we went. It was absolutely incredible and amazing. And I purchased this stack of old books for £50 from the gentleman that owned that store. Now, let me show you some of these amazing things. This one here is gorgeous. It is in German, so I'm not 100% what it is. It's obviously a religious book. It has this beautiful clasp right here. But I want to show you, when I open it up, what's on the beginning. First couple of pages, there is a Last Supper picture there. You guys know how I feel about the Last Supper. The book itself, like, I can't find a date. And I don't think that it's a Bible. It might be a catechism. I need to try and really kind of figure it out. But it is just beautiful. The cover is beautiful. This inlay here and the little clasp, and of course the artwork on the inside. I loved it. This was another one that I grabbed. It's not in the best of condition, but I enjoyed just the handwriting here on the inside cover. This one says June 20th, 1884. Wishing you a happy birthday, to Teresa Mary Brooke from her godmother, Elizabeth Calderback, June 20th, 1884. So it was this writing on this book really that made me want to buy it. And it has some very pretty illustrations that are in here. Unexpected Joy is the name of it. I think maybe that's only the illustration just here at the front. So lovely, lovely little book. Another pretty blue one. Look at how bright that blue is. The spine, of course, being exposed to the sun is less bright, but this bright cobalt blue. Again, this one has an inscription here on just the first page. John something from his mother, age 10 years. But again, it's kind of another children's book with some fun illustrations. 1878, actually, is the date on this one. And it does have some other illustrations in the book, a couple of them also. Another one that I grabbed in that bundle of $50, Jessica's First Prayer. This one, again, has writing right here on the first page. It was from a teaching library, it said. It's London, the Religious Tract Society. I specifically looked for ones that mentioned England, London, or that had this sort of handwriting. This one has a lot of various drawings in it, and I thought the cover was gorgeous and in good condition. Downstairs in that crazy filled bookstore was like all sheet music. And I found these two like collections of Bach. So Bach violin concertos. They were £5 each. So it is all sheet music. It's not, written words, but I thought that was interesting. Of course, people know who Bach is. This one has a little bit of damage there. I'll probably, keep them together. As a set, they make a nice little pair. They don't have a date on them, but they for sure have some age to them. Again, it references that they were printed in London. And because, Bach is a recognizable name, this one has a stamp on it in here. I thought that these could be just a great thing to grab. And I also love old Bibles. I have a small collection of them myself. This one I grabbed. Check it out, you guys. This one is old. It is old, and it is missing the side clasp right there. And unfortunately, sadly, since I have been home, because I've looked at it a good little bit, these front two pages have come out. This is a King James version. Here's kind of the front page of it. And I cannot find a date anywhere in here. The print on it, is minuscule. There's no way my 45-year-old eyes can read that. But here's the crazy story. I got this Bible, and after we finished shopping at this little bookstore, it's kind of the end of the day, we went and found a pub and sat down and had some dinner. And I'm flipping through this book while we're sitting there having dinner. And as I'm flipping through it, the page opens up, and I see pressed inside of it a 4-leaf clover. Can you see that? I'm going to pull it out. Is that not incredible? Absolutely amazing. Who knows how long that's been in this book. I don't know that ever in my life I found a 4-leaf clover. I think this is my first one that I've ever found. And I had to find it inside of a crazy old Bible, inside of this crazy stacked to the ceiling and all over the place bookstore in London. That's just so fun. I love it. That's one of the great things about travel, you guys, is you just get to see and experience different things, crazy stories. Like, who would have imagined that that's where I would find my first 4-leaf clover? It makes an already amazing special find even more special and amazing. Let's take a closer look at what I purchased at the Camden Passage Market that we went to on Friday. So I had a lovely chat with a gentleman who had a lot of jewelry and compact mirrors and that type of things. And I saw a lot of that at these markets, but he was kind enough to educate me on some of the things that I could be looking for. So first thing that I bought from him was this lovely vintage compact. It is made by the Stratton Company. It's from the 1950s. There was a bunch of these over there. I can tell you I paid £10 for this one. I saw a wide variety of prices. I did see some at another fair for £5. I saw some for £20, variety of prices. But this one I just thought was really very pretty. It's still in lovely shape and still would be usable as just a little compact mirror if you would like to use it for that. Tons and tons and tons of costume jewelry, pins, brooches everywhere. And the vendor at Camden Passage was nice enough to educate me about some of what I was looking for. So I purchased this beautiful brooch from him. And what he was helping me understand was how if I became familiar with the back of them and the pin, like the clasp, that I could better date these. And so this one has this tiny little, he's calling a C clasp right here. I hope that you can see it on the video. But this C clasp dates this pin to the Edwardian era, so from 1900 to 1910. And it's in beautiful condition, just a lovely enamel pin. This one here is a very pretty cameo. It does have just a little dent right there. And honestly, I don't know if that happened on the way home or if it was like that when I bought it. I'm not really sure. But it has what is called a trombone clasp here in the back. And he was telling me that that dates it more to the 1920s and 1930s when you start seeing this trombone clasp. I liked this one because it also had a mount for a necklace. So someone could have it as a necklace or they could have it as a pin. I saw a lot of cameos. This one just kind of caught my eye. My last purchase at the Camden Passage Market was this vintage leather jacket. And you can see that it has the tag inside right there from Selfridges. Selfridges is a London department store, not as swanky as Harrods, but it is still there. And I was attracted to it really because of that tag, because it has Selfridges in it. I'm planning on keeping this myself. This is just a for me personal thing. I saw a lot of people walking around the city in vintage leather. So I'm planning on keeping this for myself. And you know, sometimes when you go on vacation and like you see a bunch of people wearing like those crazy beach hats and you think, oh, I need one of those beach hats. And then you get back home and you're like, this hat looks really dumb. Have you guys ever done that? I saw a lot of people walking around in vintage leather jackets and I kind of decided that I wanted one. So this one was £20, which I felt like was a great price. It's not in perfect condition. It's a little bit worn. It doesn't bother me. I'm hoping that I find some opportunities to wear it here. I'm hoping that it doesn't turn into a beach hat that you get back home and you realize is a bad idea. I don't think it will. I think it's really cute and I'm excited about it. Thank you guys for being with me here today. I have several other videos in this series about my trip to London. If you are interested in them, you can find them down in the video description box. And of course, if you want to shop some of these finds, head over to lostandfoundvintageshop.com.